going to settle a debate between Christians on when Revelation happens or already happened. Go to 2 Esdras 6 and follow with me. I'll give verses that line up with it so you can cross-reference. And we're going to go to verse 6. Then did I consider these things, and all were made through me alone, and through none other, and by me also they shall be ended, and by none other. So God is talking here. Verse 7. Then answered I and said, What shall be the parting asunder of times, or when shall be the end of the first, and beginning of it that follows? Okay, so he's looking for the end of the world and the new beginning when New Jerusalem is created. Verse 8, And then he said to me, From Abraham unto Isaac, when Jacob and Esau were first born of him, Jacob's hand held first the heel of Esau. Okay, Genesis 25, 19 through 34. For Esau is the end of the world, and Jacob is the beginning of it that follows. So Esau was the end of the world during his time, as told by God himself. The hand of man is betwixt the heel and the hand. Other question, Esdras, asked thou not? I answered then and said, O Lord that bearest rule, if I have found favor in thy sight, I beseech thee, show thy servant the end of thy tokens, whereof thou showest me part the last night. So he answered and said unto me, Stand up upon thy feet, and hear a mighty sounding voice. Revelation 19:6, Acts 2, 2 through 4, 2 Esdras 6:17, as I'll say in a few seconds. And it shall be as it were a great motion, but the place where thou standest shall not be moved. And therefore when it speaketh, be not afraid, for the word is of the end, and of the foundation of the earth is understood. The word is of the end. And who is the word? In the beginning was the Word, and the Word was with God, and the Word was God. The same was in the beginning of God, and all things were made by him. Without him was not anything that was made. In him was life, and the life was the light. John 1:14, And the Word was made flesh and dwelt among us, and we beheld his glory, the glory of the only begotten of the Father, full of grace and truth. He was whom spake, and he cometh after me is preferred before me, for he was before me. Okay, so that means that the end was happening right there, because the Word was made flesh. And why? Because the speech of these things trembleth and is moved, for it knoweth that the end of these things must be changed. And it happened that when I had heard it, I stood upon my feet, and hearkened, and behold, there was a voice that spake, and the sound of it was like sound of many waters. And it said, Behold, the days come that I will begin to draw nigh, and visit them that dwell upon the earth, Jesus being the flesh. And it will begin to make an inquisition of them. He will make a battle come, and that's Gog and Magog. What they be that have hurt unjustly with their unrighteousness, and when the affliction of Sion shall be fulfilled, and when the word that shall begin to vanish away shall be finished, then I will show these tokens. The book shall be opened before the firmament, and they shall all see together. Daniel 12:4, Revelation 6:1. And the children of a year old shall speak with their voices, and the woman with the child shall bring forth untimely children of 3 or 4 months old, and they shall live and be raised up. And suddenly shall the sown places appear unsown, the full storehouses shall be found empty. Horsemen of famine, Revelation 6. And the trumpet shall give a sound, when every man heareth, they shall be suddenly afraid. Matthew 24:31, Revelation 8. At that time shall friends fight against one another like enemies, and the earth shall stand in fear with those that dwell therein. The springs of the fountains shall stand still, and in 3 hours they shall not run. Matthew 10:21 through 39, Mark 13:12 through 23, and Revelation 6:4. Whosoever remaineth from all these that I have told thee shall escape and see my salvation and the end of your world. Revelation 12:6, Revelation 3:10 through 13. And the men that are received shall see it, who have not tasted death from their birth, and the heart of inhabitants shall be changed and turned into another meaning. Matthew 16:28, Revelation 9:6. For evil shall be put out, and deceit shall be quenched. As for faith, it shall flourish. Corruption shall be overcome, and the truth which has been so long without fruit shall be declared. And when he talked with me, behold, I looked by little and little upon him before whom I stood. And these words he said unto me, I am come to show thee the time of the night to come. He will come at night. Revelation 16:15, 1 Thessalonians 5:2. If thou wilt pray yet more and fast 7 days again, I shall tell thee greater things by day than I have heard. For thy voice is heard before the Most High, for the Mighty hath seen thy righteous dealing. He hath seen also thy chastity, which thou hast ever since thy youth. And therefore hath he sent me to show thee all these things, and to say unto thee, Be good of good comfort, and fear not, and hasten not with the times that are past to think vain things, and thou mayest not hasten from the latter times. And it came to pass after this that I wept again, and fasted 7 days in like manner, that I might fulfill the 3 weeks which he told me. And in the 8th night was my heart vexed within me again, and I began to speak before the Most High. For my spirit was greatly set on fire, and my soul was in distress. And I said, O Lord, thou spakest from the beginning of creation, and even to the first day, and said thus, Let heaven and earth be made, and thy word was a perfect work. And then was the spirit, and the darkness and silence were formed on every side. The sound of man's voice was not yet formed. Then commandest thou a fair light to come forth of thy treasures, that thy work might appear. Upon the 2nd day thou madest the spirit of the firmament, and commandest it to part asunder, and to make a division betwixt the waters, that one part might go up, and the other might remain beneath. He goes on to say everything that he made during Genesis, and all this I have spoken before thee, O Lord, because thou hast madest the world for our sakes. For the other people, which also come of Adam, thou hast said they are nothing, but be like unto spittle, and hast likened the abundance of them unto a drop that falleth from a vessel. Verse 57, And now, O Lord, behold, these heathen, which have ever been reputed as nothing, have begun to be lords over us, and to devour us. But we, thy people, whom thou hast called thy firstborn, thy only begotten, and thy fervent lover, are given into their hands. If the world now be made for our sakes, why do we not possess an inheritance with the world? How long shall this endure? So all this goes back to Esdras 6:9. For Esau is the end of the world, and Jacob is the beginning of it that follows. And from Jacob get the tribes and Jesus and everything else. And Jesus was the flesh. Revelation already happened.